My 73, 37 and 73 is bringing heaven to earth. Okay, I gotta talk to you about another family business. Why? Because my family lives all over the fucking place and they won't talk to me directly. So I just make these videos, and then if they want to see what I have to say, they can come and see. I'm sorry, really, if you're worried about me talking about, public laundry and whatever, this is just Earth life. And everybody gets a life review when you drop dead. So I'm just doing it early. I'm telling the fucking truth, for Christ's sake. Because there's a pack of fucking liars out there that are pretending. So I'm just going to say what's on my mind. And a lot of times I'm hijacked electronically by other people. So if it appears that I'm getting annoyed, the words aren't coming out right, just consider me the same as somebody who had a stroke. Except it's not a stroke, it's electronic harassment. It's going on against me, a targeted individual. Anyways, we're going to talk about my Uncle Jack. Well, there were three boys. There was Uncle Jack, Uncle Jim, and my dad Dave. Anyways, Uncle Jack had Debbie, Donna, Diane, the twins, David, and Donnie. He had 5 kids. And he dropped dead at a young age. I think it was 42. So, and his family was living out in the Vancouver area. Well, Jack has 2 brothers, 2 younger brothers. Jim, a prominent Thunder Bay physician in those days, and David, who was on the fast track to executiveness. Well, I don't know, in those days, I think what was he doing? I think he was the general superintendent in those days. Well, I don't know. He said that when I was first born, he worked shift work as a supervisor. He didn't do any physical labor. He just wore the white hat and walked around the mill. But he did have to do shift work. But I know I did see those guys, and I worked shift work too, and I was low man, utility man when I was 18 years old, and I did the physical labor. It was just that the managers never did any physical labor. Never. The only physical labor was walking and running their mouth. So, I don't know. Anyways, because Dave might just say, well, I did work shift work. Well, you did, and it is kind of tiring to work nights, even because I didn't do that in the hotel industry. It's just that, it's not uncommon for people to work nights, Dave, and I did. So don't go saying that, puts you on a pedestal or something, because it doesn't. Anyways, you spent most of your career in the executive office, David. It's just that when your eldest brother died, let's face it, he was pretty much penniless, wasn't he? He lived paycheck to paycheck, your oldest brother. And yeah, he made too many kids for his paycheck, his pay grade. But somehow he was managing. I don't know. Somehow they were managing. It was just that when Jack died, there was an enormous hole. I don't know how the hell the family ever filled the hole of Jack's paycheck at age 42 with 5 kids. It's just that, the 2 remaining brothers flew out for the funeral. They flew out to BC from Thunder Bay. Consoled the family a little bit. Young David, Dad came back and said David took it really, really hard, his dad's death. Anyways, my dad, Dave, and Uncle Jim, Dr. Jim Burrows, flew back to Thunder Bay, told a story or 2 about, young David taking it just horrible, horrible, horrible. I don't know how old David would have been. Let's see, I don't know, maybe let's say about 12 or 13, I'm going to guess, or something like that. He said that was his nephew, of all the nephews and nieces, he said that one took it the hardest. And that was the end of it. Years later, one of the twins, I can't remember which one it was Donna or Diane, was traveling cross country on a motorbike and stopped in Thunder Bay and came and had dinner. I remember she came. I don't remember this part, but in later years, Dave and Sue, my parents, said that whichever one of the twins it was that came was asking for a little bit of money because she needed some dental work. She was asking her uncle for some money for getting her teeth fixed. And I remember her dad was dead, and she's got, you know, two uncles that are not poor. Anyways, her uncle, my dad, turned her down. No. Because over the years, he said, over the years, we didn't give her money for fixing her teeth. I don't remember her asking for money, but, he keeps bringing it up that she did, and he didn't help her out. What a skinflint. What a cheap bastard. If Dave Burrows was not a poor man in those days, he could afford it to help out his niece, his brother's daughter. He wouldn't lift a finger. And then for that matter, between the two of them, Dr. Jim, enormous house on Selkirk Street in Thunder Bay, enormous mansion, and a very hoity-toity summer cottage in Amethyst Harbor. Tons of money. Between the two brothers, Jim and Dave, how much support did they give to their brother's family out on the coast? As far as I can tell, none. He wasn't on the phone to call young David and, played the part of a replacement father figure. As far as I know, Jim didn't either. What's the point of having a family if when times get really, really horrifically, unexpectedly horrible? What's the point of having a family when they won't lift a pinky to help you out? Those are kids. Who the fuck did Jim and Dave think was going to look after those kids? In Vancouver, they should have told Norma, the mum. They should have said, Norma, we're moving your family back to Thunder Bay so we can look after you. We can't look after your kids when they're way the hell out here in BC. Those kids need a father figure, and the two of us are going to have to be father figures to your kids now that Jack is dead at age 42. That's what I would have done. Those kids needed somebody to step in for unfortunate circumstances, but it wasn't those kids' fault. And they needed an adult man in their life. And the two replacement candidates fucked off, abandoned their familiar duty. Because if you're not going to have a duty to your brother's kids, then you're not a family man, are you? You're not. You're a selfish fucking Scrooge, aren't you? And I'm going to call you both selfless fucking Scrooges when it came to your brother's Jack's family.